Today we're going to dissect one of the case studies around a happy story that I published not too long ago by a family who got through homeschooling and graduated their student from high school with an associate's degree and a bachelor's degree and got through a master's degree, all without any student loan debt and without really paying much out of pocket. So how do you do that, right? Well, it is truly a happy story, and I think that going into this case study in a deep dive is going to be really helpful. So I want to talk to you about how this works. I'm Jennifer Cook DeRosa with Homeschooling for College Credit, and this is what we do. We help families bring college credit into their homeschool program where it makes sense. So this is the post, and it appeared in our blog on April 17th. So I will link to that on the bottom so that you can read all of the details. But I want to walk you through this story and how it worked. So the family in this story is Kelsie, and she homeschools for college credit in Pennsylvania. And her daughter right now is going to be graduating at age 21 with her Master's of Public Administration. And this entire degree is fully paid for. So of course, whenever we have a family that really masters a strategy and does it very well, we like to feature them in the blog. But there's more to it. Like, I want to go a little bit deeper and explain so that you can understand exactly how this works and how you can take these strategies yourself. So let's talk about this. So the very first thing is that this student is earning college credit in high school. One of the things to remember when a student is earning college credit in high school, it's not ever changing their application status. So sometimes people worry that by earning college credit in high school, their student is going to become a transfer student, and that's not the case. As long as your student is earning college credit in high school, they are going to be able to apply as a freshman and be eligible for merit aid. Now, not every college gives merit aid, and even if the college does give merit aid, one of the principles of this strategy is that the merit aid needs to be renewable, and it also needs to be applicable to graduate study. So in this case, they started with college credit at age 14. So some of you guys are in places where you have dual enrollment programs that require your student be a certain grade level, let's say 11th grade. And so you think, well, we'll just have to wait until then. But you should know that individual programs set these standards. So if you have a program that's near you and they require your student be a certain age or grade, but you have a student that's ready, there's no reason to wait. Like, you can totally have your student enrolled in a program outside of your normal geographic area, and they can begin earning college credit anytime that they're ready. So in this case, Kelsie's daughter participated in a dual enrollment program and was doing very well. And she was doing so well that they actually have an early college program that provided a full scholarship for her last 30 credits. So she earned 30 credits, which is approximately 10 classes. She earned those 30 credits, and she did really well. So when she was able to graduate with her associate's degree, she did this during high school. Now, there's a lot of pros and cons to earning an associate's degree, and so I don't want to make it seem as if earning an associate's degree is part of this strategy. It's actually separate and one that isn't going to work for everybody. In most cases, an associate's degree is not the degree that you need before getting a bachelor's degree, and it is not always halfway to a bachelor's degree. So there's actually a lot of reasons not to get an associate's degree in high school. It can add cost, it can add time, but in this specific case, that's not what happened. In this specific case, it allowed her to work on her first 60 credits towards her bachelor's degree. So she was admitted to the university as a freshman, and of course, she had junior standing. So how does that work? Well, if you have any amount of credit and that was earned during high school, that credit does not change your freshman application status. So you are actually applying as a freshman, but once you get enrolled into the college and matriculated, you become a junior. So that bump is what's really key, because she is a freshman and she does apply as a freshman, but then she gets that bump. So what happens? Well, she was granted a merit scholarship that was going to give her 4 years of award. And in this case, it was a full scholarship plus an annual stipend and a semester abroad. And this also included housing. So this was a really good scholarship. She clearly had a really strong GPA and SAT. So in her case, she had this award that was going to be for 4 years, but she wouldn't need it for 4. So if you think of coming in with the 60 credits, that's 2 years of college already done. So her first 2 years are just not needed because she did those in high school. So she's got 4 years of an award, but she's going to graduate with her bachelor's degree, or at least that's the plan, in 2 years. Now, I feel like I have to inject some logic here and say that even though this is the plan that this family used, most of us are not making plans like this when our kids are 14. Like, we don't know what is going to happen. We don't know how successful our kids are going to be with college credit. We don't know which major they're going to choose, which college they're going to choose. So there's a lot of variables here, but this is an example of when it just kind of fell into place perfectly. And I feel like it makes sense to know that these options exist in case they can apply to you. So she's going into her bachelor's degree and only is going to need 2 years of her merit scholarship. So that is the first clue as to how we're going to use this strategy, right? So her undergraduate merit scholarship is going to continue to fund her graduate school as long as she's classified as an undergrad. So that was the wording at her school that prompted the idea that what can we do to keep our student as an undergrad but begin earning graduate credit? So I want you to think about this a lot like dual enrollment and how that works in high school. When your student is in high school, they're earning college credit, sometimes free or reduced, and certainly for less money than what they're going to pay after high school, right? When they graduate high school, they pay full price. So isn't it better to get that college credit while they're in high school? Yes, of course it is. So that dual enrollment, that double dipping of credit, is essentially what's going to go on here in this case. So in this case, her college also offered master's degrees in the field that she wanted. And so they had a program that allowed students to work on graduate school while they're an undergrad. And there are many programs like this. We'll talk about a few here in just a second. But this is almost like doing the dual enrollment version at college, because you're getting the graduate credit, you're paying for it with undergraduate funds. And this is a very efficient way. It's just like using dual enrollment in your homeschool program. So some of the strategies here: applying as a freshman, not as a transfer. It's super important, if you want to try a strategy like this, that your student come in as a freshman student. That means that they can't earn college credit after high school. If they do that, it bumps them into a transfer student status. And these 4-year freshman scholarships, these merit awards, they are typically only going to freshman students. So if your student comes in as a transfer, this type of a strategy is not going to work. Next, you want to select a college that offers 4-year renewable scholarships. Believe it or not, some of these awards are not renewable. So while you look at different college choices and where your student's going to go, if you're thinking that this award that they're receiving is going to be a factor as to where they go, it's part of your decision, you want to find out if it's renewable, because if it's not renewable, if it's only paying for their first year, this is definitely not going to be the best option for you. Next, you want to choose a school with an internal graduate program. What does that mean? That just means that where your student gets their undergraduate has to be the same school as to where they get their graduate degree. The school has to create these programs that allow the completion to be seamless. In other words, if this student had to graduate with her bachelor's degree and then go into graduate school, this wouldn't have worked. The only reason that it worked is because they were able to pull the credits out of the graduate program and apply them both to the undergraduate and to the graduate degree. So some of the terms that you can look for as you start to investigate schools: accelerated masters, bachelor's to masters, sometimes 2+2, 2+3, different programs like that. They kind of give a clue that these types of combined bachelor's and master's programs exist. So you're going to want to definitely have those on your radar as you're looking for undergraduate degree programs. Next is to graduate with that bachelor's in 2 years. This is really important because if you have a student who comes in with 2 years already done, and those 2 years are applied to their bachelor's degree, and there's only 2 years left, in many cases, the student will say, well, I've got all this extra freedom now. I've got all this extra flexibility. Maybe I want to do a double major, or maybe I want to do another minor, or if I want to, add to my education, maybe I want to go abroad, I want to do all of these different things, that can lengthen the amount of time that you're in undergraduate, and therefore it could eat up your opportunity of doing this program where you're getting your graduate degree paid for. So you want to be really mindful of keeping the pace so that your student graduates in 2 years. Super important right there. Then you're going to use that banked scholarship for the master's degree. Now, in the case of this happy story that we posted, and again, I'm going to link that into the comments below, you'll see that this student's university required that they not graduate in order to take advantage of this program. So they had to hold back one of their undergraduate classes from their bachelor's degree and not complete it. So that was kind of left in limbo while they completed graduate school. And then when it was closer to the end, they could do the one undergraduate class, and then boom, they would graduate. So there's a little bit of a manipulation of the dates there, but that is part of the strategy of making this work. So this was a very clever way to have the undergraduate degree, the associate, and then the bachelor's paid for, as well as the master's degree, all as a result of getting good grades in high school. So if that's not a reason to study hard, get good grades, and pass that SAT, I don't know what is. Until next time, bye-bye.